Hello, everyone. Welcome to the XMTP developer community call. Thanks everyone for joining. I'm Jay Ha, I work in protocol ops, and I'll be your MC today. The webinar is being recorded for folks who can't have the wonderful experience of attending live with us all here. But the recording of the meeting will be posted to the XMTP community forums after the call. So you can always go to this link and reference it later. It also goes to our YouTube channel, XMTP Community Videos, which is some really wonderful video resources there. And let us see here. I would also like to share a link to our XMTP community code of conduct, which we observe during this call and at all public gatherings of the XMTP community. And we invoke this code at the beginning of every meeting just to create a space where we hope everyone will feel welcome to share their ideas and ask questions. So I'll go ahead and put a link to that in the chat. Great. All right. And I also want to take a moment to acknowledge that we're using webinar format for the safety and security of the community here. We can see all of the attendees and would love it if, you're not a panelist, to raise your hand if you'd like to speak, and we'd be delighted to unmute you. And please feel free to use the Q&A tool as well to ask questions and give feedback at any time. And every few meetings, we also take a moment to acknowledge our mission as the XMTP community. And we invite everyone who values open protocols, permissionlessness, and private and secure communication that you own and control to join us in this mission. And so now, for our main event, I'd like to introduce Eric with the go-to-market team and Fabri, our XMTP agent evangelist, the human agent.eth himself, to take us into our main event, Chatbots That Transact. Please go ahead and take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Jay. Hey guys, I'm Eric on the go-to-market team for Ephemera. I want to just kick things off today for this week's awesome community call. So excited to have you all here, whether you're a returning builder or just starting to explore what's possible with messaging on XMTP. This is definitely the call to be on. Today, we're going to dig into the major update for XIP 59, a new transaction type that allows agents to trigger on-chain calls directly from user's wallet. So right within the inbox, no more DApp visits, no browser extensions, just messaging as the core interface for on-chain transactions. This is a big shift, and it points to something we've been really leaning into, the idea that messaging is not just for communication, it's becoming a new operating layer for everything on-chain. Think about things that you're doing for visiting those dApps like swapping, staking, minting. All that can be within a conversation. And messaging has always been the biggest use case on the internet. And now by expanding that to the inbox, what we can do, we're really opening the door to simple, faster, more intuitive on-chain experiences that feel like chatting and not transacting. At the end of the day, it's about building something people want, messaging first interactions that meet users where they're at, not in a dApp, not in a wallet UI, but in a conversation. And that's what makes this shift super powerful. We're already seeing some momentum here with XIP 59, and shout out to Kishore from the HeyElsa team for pushing the boundaries and kicking this off in an XIP. For Voidsider from the Banker Squad, providing comments and all the different inboxes for being here. Shout out Coinbase Wallet as well. The cool thing is that this isn't really abstract anymore. And these real experiences, these live builds, tangible UX improvements that are happening right now. And with XIP 59, we're giving devs even more power to make these things actually possible. So whether you're already shipping agents, agent curious, just vibe coding agents, we're super stoked to have you here. And let's get into the conversation, explore how we can keep pushing these edges of what's possible with messaging. So I'll push it over to Fabri and Kishore to dive a little deeper into the XIP.
Hey, so yeah, so this is part of a bigger update. We've been So if you want to build agents today, you will use one of our SDKs, which is called the Node SDK, basically JavaScript for backend. And if you want to debug and test them, we have XMTP.CHAT, which uses the browser SDK. So with the combination of browser and Node JavaScript, you can not only build the agents, but also test them. So XMTP.CHAT is meant to be a dev tool, and we are also going to go deep into the updates that came with XMTP.CHAT as well. But yeah, so one of the most requested features since the beginning of time was to have a way to transact on XMTP apps. And with the rise of agents, this feature became more and more important. So we were lucky to be working closely to the HeyElsa team that we met in San Francisco in Coinbase Hackathon. And since then, we've been trying to have content types as part of the protocol. So have transactions as part of the protocol. This means that we have to create a content type. So if you go into XMTP and you see a reply or an image or a reaction, an emoji, those are different content types, and those can be extensible. They can be super flexible. And they all go through a process where we ask the community for feedback. Someone proposes the code. Maybe sometimes it's our team, sometimes our external teams, like in this case. So yeah, we talk about all of these in this agent update that I'm sharing the link right here. And yeah, I'll just go default to Kishore. He was the mastermind behind this. They are using something similar to HeyElsa. Maybe Kishore, you can also start like showing what HeyElsa is doing, and how that was like a fundamental insight for creating this content type. So it will be good to see HeyElsa and then how the exam experience is today live on XMTP.CHAT. So yeah, off to Kishore.
Thanks, Fabri. Yeah, so hi, I'm Kishore. So I'm part of the HeyElsa team. So if you have used HeyElsa, so it's a agent that will converse with you in simple English, and you can invoke transactions. You can ask it questions about your wallet, like how you can optimize, like you can diversify your portfolio. So all that we have built inside HeyElsa, like as a chat application. And like with XMTP, what we can achieve, so we can move it to a much broader like ecosystem where any wallet that is integrating with XMTP, like which is building a front end for the XMTP chat, they can also use any of the AI agents like Elsa, and you can like without the user having to switch between apps, they can just execute the transactions without having to worry about complicated UI. So that's the goal.
Would you mind, Kishore, sharing a bit the screen and show maybe a HeyElsa, and then I don't know if you have it. I can also show a demo of how the transaction works, but we are also free to.
Just a second. Sorry, I'm a bit new to this, guys. I think I have to exit Zoom and reopen to share my screen. Just give me 1 second. I'll do that.
Okay.
I can share the screen.
Yeah, we can see the HeyElsa tab.
Awesome. Yeah, so this is HeyElsa. Like you can ask it questions, like you can type your own. And recently we even, I'm not sure if that is live. We can also use voice chat to talk to Elsa. So you can log in with any of your, so for a simple, like for a newbie, you can just log in with your email address and that will create a smart account for you where we sponsor the gas for, certain transactions. And so that will be like the simplest user experience. And then you can also connect with your MetaMask, Coinbase wallets, Phantom or Binance. So you can, like, without creating a new wallet or adding crypto into it, you can just integrate with any of these. You can also switch to a smart account, so the Coinbase smart wallet. Let me show you that. So it's a test account with some balance. You can just you can swap, you can send it to someone. So just look, everything is correct and then confirm and it will happen. So this will trigger because this is Coinbase smart wallet, uh, you can just sign it using a passkey. And that's it. So yeah, so this is about HeyElsa. You can ask it to build your like diversify your portfolio, and like you can on ramp using Coinbase. So we have much more features.
Yeah, that was the passkey transaction confirmation was super cool.
So the same functionality, we want to add it in the XMTP chat also. So there is a demo for that which I can show. So this is under XMTP HeyElsa. So this is built on, I mean, this is a fork of the XMTP.JS repo. And you can chat with, so there is a ELSA XMTP agent running under this wallet address. So you can do a swap transaction or send transaction also here. I think in the demo, yeah, we support only swap and lending on Morpho. Yeah, so this is what we support in this demo implementation. I'll show you an example, like let's I have so what you see here, this is the actual this is a special type of message. The content type is called wallet send calls. So this is basically like it's a similar to this the EIP 5792 specification, which defines like a standard way of passing parameters to for a wallet to sign the transactions. So this supports the reason I decided to use the wallet send calls and not the ETH send transaction is because like this supports multiple transactions in a single packet, and you can also send it to a smart wallet where it can do a bundling, and it can sponsor gas if the wallet supports it. So all that we can do using the wallet send calls specification. So I can click on this submit. So this in the current implementation, this executes one by one, but this being a smart wallet, we can use the bundling feature, and so I will give a pull request for it separately. Like we can execute both of these in a single action. This one. So once it has executed this action, the client sent a message, which is another, which is using another XIP for registering a transaction, this transaction reference content type. So what you see here, this view in Explorer. So this link is from that content type. This is a transaction reference. So this is the first transaction, and I think there is one more. So this. So both the transactions are successful. Yeah, so this is the basic demo.
Yeah, this must be the best demo I ever seen.
Thankfully,
I don't think it gets any better than this.
Incredible.
Yeah, this is awesome.
so
It'd
there
be
is one
better
more.
if it'd be better actually if it was in Coinbase Wallet, probably. Just saying. Just
Soon.
call
This
that
is
out.
Coinbase wallet.
Soon.
This is Coinbase smart wallet.
Soon, yeah.
So there is one another content type which I am currently working on, which is to allow for offline signatures like signing type data, which is useful for things like permit to or Coinbase spend permissions. So all those that require like a offline signature, which is then added to another API call, I mean another transaction. So we can use this other content type to record, like to create that intent, which will be similar to this wallet send calls content type.
Kishore, is that going to allow for different or new use cases? Is something that
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So right now, like this is another feature we are working in HeyElsa as well, which is to like snipe meme tokens on base chain, where the user gives you like a budget. So the user authorizes a budget using Coinbase spend permissions. Uh, so what you can do is you can get pre-authorization from the user, and over the next 24 hours you can keep watching for any promising meme tokens, and if you've like if Elsa finds there is a meme token that's on the rise, it can use the user's funds and purchase it for the user, like without them being online or doing any transaction themselves. So it requires a offline signature using this ETH sign type data, which is similar to a online transaction using either of these.
Awesome. Yeah, no, this is great, and we do have a simple example in the XMTP agents examples repo that uses this content type, and basically it's like a quick start if you want to get started quickly, trying out this content type. You can request a facet. Like we are defaulting to base Sepolia for now, but it works on any chain or most chains, right, Kishore?
Yeah. So the content type itself is agnostic to it. I mean, the client implementation that we did in XMTP.JS repo that supports, I think, base Sepolia, we can expand that like without any issues.
Great. Can't wait to see this like in real world scenarios.
Well, sure. Thank you very much for that demo. Is there anything else that you'd like to share about Hey Elsa? Like where the name came from? Who's Elsa, Kishore?
I think Dhaval is on the call, so maybe he can answer that.
I think we just wanted like a quick name that was easy to, remember and memorable. So that's how we thought of it. And then we weren't really getting a domain, so then we just added the hey to it. So that's how we got our website URL, HeyElsa.ai.
Love it. It is memorable. Yeah.
Thank
Well,
you.
oh, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks, Kishore, for the demo.
Thanks, Dhaval.
Yeah, really, I think it's incredible the way that you're really building upon EIPs, XIPs, and even have yet another one coming. It's really beautiful that you found a way to work with this framework of improvement proposals to get what you want into the protocol. I really appreciate your contribution.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, I'd love to open it up for questions from folks on the call. Fantastic. Thank you, Duke. Just one second here. Right.
Hey, that was a super dope demo to see what is capable of doing. Wow. Haven't seen anything like that before. Um, so I guess I'm trying to see if I wrap my mind around it properly to see if I understand. So it's say in a simple chat box, like a simple chat inbox that has been built, is ELSA like available by connecting to that particular address that you showed to be able to have conversation with it and transactions with it, or can it be like included as sort of like an implementation within the chat box that can do things with conversations with other people as well?
Yeah, so currently in the current implementation, I think it just listens to the DM messages, but it can also listen, like we can add it as a member to a group conversation, and but then I don't know, we need to maybe think about uh, like some complex scenarios, like if multiple people are talking to the agent, and does it take into account all the messages before responding, or does it still consider only the person, like the messages of one person in order to respond?
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay. But as it stands right now, if I have the particular address where I have access to it, I can have a conversation with it and like play around with it, right? More or less.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Super cool. And is this available on the browser SDK? Because I saw Jay has shared a link that was Node SDK. Just wanted to confirm.
Yeah, I can answer that. So it's both. It's the browser SDK using XMTP.CHAT, but at some point it's going to be, for example, the React Native SDK if it's a mobile app, and both of them are going to render the same content type. So imagine that you have like multiple chat apps, maybe on web, maybe on mobile. They're all going to use the same standard. So you can chat on web, and the agent can respond in Node.js, JavaScript using the same content type. And then you can follow up the conversation with the same agent on a different application, and they all use the same content type, which is, let's say, replicating in all the SDKs. So yeah, this is basically the idea behind this is someone like HeyElsa. They created a great user experience, and they want their agents to be available on XMTP. And of course, they wanted to provide the same great experience they are providing with their own inbox. So this content type now is open source and available to any app of the ecosystem to integrate, which is great, right? It's like a great open source contribution to the XMTP ecosystem. And yeah, it's going to be available in all SDKs. So yeah, no limits on or any other idea. Like if, for example, we talk with Kishore about having this other type of transactions, or maybe like rendering Markdown, for example, agents, they can send like a lot of messages and maybe statuses and balances and different tokens. So maybe making for right now it's only text across all the SDKs, across all the apps, just plain text. But maybe we can do like render Markdown, so you can put nice titles, you can use bold, italic, you can, bullet points, everything that we love about Markdown. And that would be a new content type. It needs to go through the same process, and then it's instantly and magically available in all the XMTP apps for everyone to use and integrate.
So just to add to that, so another feature that ELSA has currently is the ability to suggest. So as it responds, it can also give you suggestions on like follow-up questions that you can ask it. So it's easier to just click one of the suggestion than to type it out fully, right? So that also we can introduce as a content type in the agent, XMTP agent.
Super cool. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Duke. Any other thoughts from folks? All right. Well, I think this may be a really nice time to segue. Oh, hello there, Saul.
Yeah,
Please.
I just have a question about the design and product development process for ELSA. So when you're thinking about a new capability for ELSA, and especially in the context of an application that you don't control the interface for, do you design? Do you do visual designs? Do you just kind of write out the scripts? And like, what does the process actually look like for building a product that is entirely just a text-based agent?
Hi. Sorry. Yeah. So, are you asking like what is the design process? How do we? So, we, like at HeyElsa, like we have a dedicated like designer, and so our CTO, so Vetri. So he is the mastermind behind most of the feature requests and how we can improve the user experience and yeah. So I don't know, like it just comes.
I think just to add like, to what Kishore said is that we're constantly iterating on user feedback. So a lot of times we typically receive anywhere between like say 7 to 10 feedbacks on a daily basis. So we try to understand what they're trying to do, what protocols are like popular, also assess the Twitter sentiment. And then some of these are like readily and easily implementable, so we go after it. And then we're constantly participating in hackathons too to connect with other devs to see what agents can be brought onto ELSA as well.
Great. Thanks so much. Yeah, I was picturing some kind of spreadsheet for the design of the conversation design.
Wondering if ELSA prototypes itself.
Right, right. Excellent. Well, as I was saying, it might be a good time to segue into our next segment. Thank you, Kishore and Dawal, for joining today and sharing your time with us. But our next segment is related to what you demoed. I'd love for Rai to come on now and share with us XMTP.CHAT, which is the chat interface that Kishore and Dawal forked to build HeyElsa into. Rai, how does that sound?
That sounds great. Let's do it.
All right.
All right, let me just share my screen here. Cool. Yeah, just to be a brief intro, if you've never used this application before, it was recently rebuilt, not really from scratch, but really kind of ironed out all the rough edges that we had when we initially launched this tool. The first thing you'll see is if you're not connected to any of your wallets or accounts, you'll get to this screen. It will auto redirect you to wherever you were afterwards. You can see you can select your network here. I'm running a local node during development, so I'm using that. And then, of course, you can go ahead and enable logging. At this moment, this logging references our WASM library. So all that stuff that's running in Rust that's been translated to WASM, that's where the logging is coming from. We have plans to add more logging in the actual browser SDK itself, which will enhance the logs even more. And then finally down here, we do track very basic stuff in this app. It's very privacy conscious, plausible analytics. But we want to be upfront about that, so you can just go ahead and disable that if you don't want that to be done. All right, so let's just log in and go through this interface here. So you can see, since I've enabled logging, I get a bunch of stuff coming from our Rust library, and then also some very basic stuff in communication with the web workers that are powering this interface. Because we are using OPFS, and we have a local SQLite database that's getting all this information, everything needs to go through a web worker. So when you perform an action, it sends a message to the worker does the work and then sends back the results. So you'll be able to see that when the worker receives data, in this case, I'm trying to get some conversations, And then once that's done, the actual client itself receives the data back. And of course, the interface will go ahead and process that. So that's what all of this, all these logs are for. Other than that, the interface is very simple because the primitives in our protocol are also very simple. We have conversations and we have messages. And of course, we have identities. So the first thing you'll notice up top is the network that you're connected to. This is very important when you're developing. I've done this myself where I thought I was on local and I was on dev or vice versa. I don't tend to use production at all during development. So I personally would keep that either local or your dev network. Here's our identity modal. This will give you everything you need to know about who you are on the network. And so you'll have your address, your inbox ID, which will be consistent across all of your installations. And of course, in this browser, we have our installation. You can also check out when your installation was created. You can revoke it, or sorry, your other installations. You can revoke them here if you want. And then this morning we added this new key package status. So you can actually take a look at your key packages and get the status on them. So you can see when they expire and if there's an error involved, this is another debugging feature. So that is identity. And then everything is done through these menus. So if you have any actions you want to perform, look for these dot menus. Application level, we can create new direct or group conversations, and of course, disconnect. Conversations, we can sync this with the local database and along with the network. This will give us all of our conversations that we currently have. These are a bunch of test conversations that I have created. And yeah, you can select through, and as seen in the HeyElsa demo, you can get the messages or the properties of every single message here for debugging purposes. Yeah, everything's there and everything is copyable. Anytime you see this icon, you can copy this. If you want to copy, easy convenience method for copying information. And of course, this menu has been recently revamped, but you can manage the group consent. And if this is an actual group, you can manage the members. You can add new members by address or inbox ID. Just paste those in. It will auto-detect which one it is based on the string there. And you can, of course, change the group name if you want. Sync that, get the update there. And any content types that don't have a very specific renderer, like you saw with the HeyElsa demo, it will simply display what that looks like, what the decoded content looks like. So if it's supported, it might have a special render. If not, it's just going to render in this code block kind of thing here. And then, of course, we have permissions. So anything you can do in a group, we have that available. We do have some features coming down the pipe. Disappearing messages is among them. And then, excuse me, of course, admin management. We have super admins and regular admins, and we're going to have that interface added soon to manage those as well. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this interface. One more thing so the ephemeral wallets, we create those automatically. If you go into your local storage, you can actually see the key right here. This is not something you want to, if it's a wallet with actual money in it, you don't want to put it in here. It's not a very secure place to keep your keys like that. But if you're working locally and you're generating local wallets, you can go ahead and copy and paste a key into there. So if you've created something on your own programmatically and you want to see what's going on with it, you can just copy and paste it into here for now. We do have some ideas for perhaps managing private keys through this interface to make that an easier process to be switching between different private keys. But other than that, yeah, that's it. Any questions?
Fantastic. Thanks so much. Thank you, Rai, for building, designing, and creating this tool for developers to use to learn how to build with XMTP. It's beautiful. Excellent. Next up, we have Naomi, our VP of Engineering at Ephemera, to share some engineering updates. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Thank you, Naomi.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a quick engineering update on what the engineering team here is working on. As you saw, we've been working on a lot of developer tooling, a lot more to come there. XMTP.CHAT should hopefully have some more things to be useful for debugging your implementations and your bots. We're working on a second version of how History Sync works. This will be how you transfer history between two installations and how you get two online installations, your local databases to match. There should be an XIP hopefully posted about this later today, and that work is, and obviously we're working hard towards our decision effort. And I did want to just make a quick note that we are hiring pretty much across the whole company. So if you know anybody who has worked in messaging protocols, who is an expert in MLS, or works on React Native apps, etc., like please send them our way. Would love to meet them.
Fantastic. Thank you, Naomi. Excellent. Hi, Omkar. Just one second. Let me go ahead and there we go.
Hey, I don't know if my video is working, but that's okay. Hi guys, I'm Omkar from Coinbase Wallet team. Just wanted to say, love seeing all these demos. We're really excited to put these content types into the Coinbase Wallet and really leverage all of that in what we're building. So really love seeing all this, and it was fantastic.
Wow. Thanks so much for those words of support. Beautiful. Thank you for your partnership.
Yeah, thanks for being such great partners yourselves, guys.
Beautiful. Any other questions, any thoughts, any closing thoughts? All right.
Do we have any more closing thoughts? Can I just share a little story?
Yes, please.
It's one of those serendipitous days of coincidence. And I got a news alert this morning, and one of those little reminders, little time hops. And 9 years ago today, actually, we were in San Francisco. I was still working on messaging, so it tells you how old and how long I've been working on this. And we were getting ready to launch the first ever transaction to happen inside of Facebook Messenger. And at 11 p.m. at night on a Tuesday night, we got a call, and April 12th was going to be F8 in 2016. And we were working with 1-800-Flowers with their APIs to build the first ever transaction in messaging that was fully autonomous, no human, AI driven, and allowed you to buy flowers and have it delivered. And we get this call, and they're like, hey, Zuckerberg wants to demo this as the main demo for F8. We need to do a 72-hour sprint with the QA team to make sure it can withstand the demo and all the things work. But also, do you think that the CEO of 1-800-Flowers would be okay if Zuckerberg says on stage, and finally you'll never have to call 1-800-Flowers again? And kudos to the CEO of 1-800-Flowers, Chris McCann. We called him. We're like, hey, I think you're going to be the main stage demo here using the Assist platform, which we were the largest messaging kind of business platform for chatbots and customer service. And he was just like, of course. He's like, I don't want to call 1-800-Flowers. He can say whatever he wants. And so he came, we sat front row, and it was one of those moments where we did a 72-hour sprint. And then that Friday, this is April 12th, 2016, you see, we launched the first ever flowers being bought on Facebook Messenger. And it was funny, for a month, I ran around to all like the Fortune 500s, and I would just hand them the phone and say, just type in your address. And then they would type it in. And I spent, I think, $15,000 on flowers doing demos in the first month of it being live. And also, best demo for everyone building agents out there, because you get done with the demo, you go home, and then 8 hours later, flowers show up to their house, and they have to be reminded about you later that night. But it was one of those moments in time, and it's kind of crazy, trying to make messaging economies, money and messaging, transactions, AI work for about 12 years now. And I was thinking a lot about like what is different. And I really think the three things that are different is, one, the AI is real now. We were building like really complex AI at the time to do nonlinear flows, to have failovers and how you handle error handling and all these things. And then LLMs happen, and like that was actually the thing. And so we were too early. And I think being too early is one of those things. And if there's anything that I think I hold dear to my heart as a person in startups and being a founder, is don't die. So here I am 12 years later, just not dead yet. But I think this is like really going to happen, and the AI needed to be good enough. We needed a native financial rail. I think the fundamental thing that changed here is not everyone in a group chat. If a group is a little messaging microeconomy, or messaging is the most valuable use case on earth and it's global, but money is not. And that's now changed. You can guarantee that every single person in that group chat has a wallet address, can receive money, can transact, can exchange value, can prove what they own, et cetera. And that foundation mixed with AI that's real are the two technology changes on top of an open protocol. Every single developer that built on top of Facebook got cut off. They bought a company called Customer. They cut off all of us as partners. They changed the APIs. They actually took the keys away. We went and worked with Apple, same kind of war. And the number one surface area in the world, messaging, has always been closed. And it always meant developers got screwed. You couldn't build a long-standing business. You couldn't build on top of these things. And so working with a Coinbase, who then's believing in and working on an open protocol to ensure that developers can trust to build, is the thing that's different, that allows people to build actual companies that can be sustaining, that don't get cut off. And that surface area mixed with AI and a native financial rail coming together, for me, 9 years later, literally this day, the thing we've always been trying to do is now not just possible, it can also now it can be amazing. And it can also be in our groups, and it can also be social, and it can also be fun. And it can also do things it can never do when you know that every single person in that group can be a part of that transaction, part of that economy, part of that shared value. And actually, people can actually do things together, versus back then, the payments wasn't on everyone's phone. It was all different things. It didn't go across borders. And that's still the same problem today. And I think if I've learned anything from like sometimes the technology leaps, you have to kind of start from scratch with the new technologies to build the next thing. You don't just morph the thing that was already there. And I think these centralized encrypted messengers that don't have native financial rails, that are based on a single identity that is actually built in a closed fashion, where one founder, one company can cut people off whenever they want and steal your usernames, read all your DMs, et cetera, the era is coming to an end. And so for me, it was just cool when I was thinking about this morning, because I was watching that time hop come in, and I was like, holy shit, that was 9 years ago this morning. And it feels like all these things are coming together the same way like an Uber happened in 2010, right? It wasn't, oh my gosh, some crazy innovation. It was a Google Maps API. The mobile phone had location access. The payments now could also be done on mobile, which allowed you to not have the friction of the driver, mixed with the ability of the mobile phone. And all those things came together to create the innovation. And it feels like all these building blocks have been working for 10 years to get to here. And now we finally have all the things to put them all together and put the Lego pieces together to build shit that's amazing. So just kudos to everyone here. And I'm more excited than ever. And, um, you know, still alive after a decade of trying to build the same experience. So let's go make it happen.
Amazing. What a great note to close this call on. Thanks for sharing, Shane. Any closing comments on that? All right, folks. Well, thank you all for joining. Thank you, Kishore, Dawal, Duke, Omkar, everyone for sharing your stories here today. And we'll see you next time. All right. Take care.
Thanks all.